Hello there, YouTube. How's everybody doing? I need to do a little housekeeping here, so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'll move this right off the screen. Sorry about that. Should have been ready. How's everybody doing? Today, I want to discuss a topic that I think might help a lot of people out there. Um, as you guys have looked in on our guitar lessons, you know that I have a certain philosophy about how to learn at least jazz music that has to be played spontaneously and off the fly. And one of the reasons, no, there are many reasons, but one of the main reasons that people stumble trying to learn this language of jazz, whether it's on the piano, the guitar, the saxophone, the drum, doesn't matter, is that their foundation is not skilled enough that they can build a house on top of it. And again, maybe a little bit of talking in this video. We'll play a little bit, but maybe a little bit of talking because I hope you'll latch on to this concept. My friend Gino and I have been working on this for 6, 7 years. That we are going to leave songs alone until we learn, until we're ready to recognize patterns in songs. So let me give you an example just to make that clear, and then we'll get into it a little bit. I had a guy come up to me the other day, and he says, "Man, I would like to learn the song Misty on the guitar." And I said, "What key is it in?" He says, "I don't know." Well, it's in the key of E flat. So what is the 2 chord in E flat? He says, "I don't know." What's the 6 chord in E flat? I have no idea. Well, with all due respect, sir, you are nowhere close to learning to play the song Misty. Now, I could have tricked him. I could have said, "Look, preacher, let me move my camera here down a little bit so you can see what's going on. Here, what you want to do is you want to play this E flat major chord like this, and then you want to play this C minor, and then that gets you to a B flat chord, and then a B flat minor, and then you got But would I really be helping this gentleman out? No. Even if he can play Misty, even if he worked on it for 2 months, and he finally got the song Misty down, how did I help that person? How did I help that person? I just refuse to do it. I just refuse to do it. Now, guitar is not my main instrument. Piano is, but I know enough about. I mean, music is music. Jazz is jazz. Chords are chords. So once I figured out chords on the guitar, that's a requisite skill. How do you speak a language if you don't know words? How do you learn words if you don't know your alphabet? Yeah. So that analogy holds in music. There's another real advantage that if you choose to do the foundational work, now when you play Misty or whatever song you want to play, I just arbitrarily pick Misty. Now when you play Misty, you're going to be more relaxed. You're going to play it more freely. You're going to have more routes through that music because you've got your foundation down pat. If you don't, see, people are they want to, especially adults, they want to learn songs. So that's why we're playing music, so we can play songs. But I think you learn exercises that you can recognize in songs. I pause to let that sink in. You learn exercises that you can recognize in songs. But if you learn the songs and you can't recognize, because jazz is about 8 or 9 or 10 chord progressions that's just recycled over and over and over again. then you say, also your ear will recognize certain patterns in songs. So you learn chords, you learn chord progressions or patterns. You learn how patterns relate to each other. You learn different routes like chord substitutions. Okay, now you're ready to play some songs. Now, am I saying that you have to be a chord progression aficionado in order to play your first song? No. Jazz is not like going to school. You learn kindergarten, first grade. Learning jazz is a little bit messy. So, but you're constantly, at least what I'm trying to get across in this video, is don't neglect your foundational skills. And I'm going to talk about two of them today, but there are others, especially rhythm exercises and things like that. But let's get to the first one I want to talk about, and I'm going to use my iPad here to help me out. So I'm going to slide this over here. Now what you're looking at is a chord system. Now you probably can't see me right now, but I'm going to play, let me get my own, I'm going to play this chord right here, that chord. That's an F7 chord that you can find. So on the first fret, I have the it sounds sort of like that, right? A lot of people will play that chord and move on. Wait a minute. You see how I have notes on the side over here? This little note right here says, okay, it's in the number 1 position. That's arbitrary. It's off the low E string. So that's where F is. Everything is based off the low E string. And that voicing is a 1, 7, 3, 5 voicing. Well, why do we care about that? Well, how do you spell F7? Get my little eraser out here. This is the fundamental stuff that a lot of people skip. And then when they're playing Misty, you know, you're trying to build a skyscraper, but your foundation is a little weak. If I blew this up a little bit and I got to that same chord here, you see how that F7 chord is spelled F, E flat, A, C. It's a 1, 7, 3, 5. Now, if you played it in root position on a piano, it is a 1, 3, 5 flat 7. So I won't go into a lot of details, but your thinking has to be, this is more than just a guitar grip. I got to learn a little bit about what is this chord. What's the difference between a major chord and a minor 7 flat 5, a diminished chord, etc. So since we're voicing this chord in a I think it's a drop 3. Now, if I move down, I am just every voice I have in this first position is going to move up the F7 chord. So 1's going to go to 3, 3's going to go to 5, 5's going to go to 7, and 7's going to go to 1. You're going to end up with this chord. And if you can't see me, I'm not sure, because I can't see technologically until I edit this. But now I'm playing this chord. Okay? So I went from the first chord up there at the top to what I'll call second inversion. And I didn't play it very well. You say, well, why do I need to know all these different F7 chords? Excuse me. Because when you have your foundation laid solid, you're going to have choices. Don't worry when you get to Misty or some song. You're gonna have all kind of choices that you can draw into. But if you learn this in a spotty kind of way, you know one of them, two of them, maybe three of them. Now you're gonna be restricted, and when you're restricted, you're gonna be nervous, etc., etc., etc. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of a cold. So let's speed this up. Let me zero this back down and clean it up a little bit. So what we're going to do as an exercise is we're going to play these chords, these F7 chords, all the way down to the bottom there. Okay? Now, I'll clean it up. You pause the video, take a screenshot of this, and now you have a cheat sheet that you can use to practice exercises. But look at the notes that I have made on there. The second voicing is a 3-1-5-7 voicing. 3 is on the bottom, and 7's on the top. The third one, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, is a 5-1, is a 5-7-3-1. 1's on the top, right? And then the last one is a 7-5-1-3. That one is a very common one. So, here's the boring stuff. It's boring, 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 boring. Move this out of the way. Now you can see me again. So we want to take a slow little rhythm. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Another exercise when you have that down pretty good is you can skip over. Okay, so let's go from the 1, 2. Now let's skip to this one. 2, 3. Let's go to this one. 2. Let's go back up to this one. You can skip around, and you don't have to take them in order. You can take them randomly. You always want to be thinking in a jazz rhythm kind of way. 1, 2. This one right here, this second one that I showed you, that 3-1-5-7 voicing, it's a good chord. Hardly no one uses it. I don't know why. If you happen to be playing later on when you're playing solo guitar work and you see a melody with a 7 on top under a G7 chord, this is the voicing you want. A lot of people will play this. Same chord, except for I moved off the low E string to the high E string, but I got ahead of myself. I guess because the fingering is a little bit funny, people shy away from this chord for some reason. But there's no hard chord or easy chord. There's just practice chords and unpracticed chords. That's all. So that one's a little bit, then you give it extra practice here. So here's, and then go back to the one you need to. Everybody knows this one. So, what I am telling you in 2-3 minutes takes 2-3 hours of practice time. In other words, I'm going to make this point several times, and I know a lot of people are going to click off this video because they just don't want to hear it. I'm trying to help you that when you finally do get to songs, you're going to be dynamic, and you're going to be relaxed. You're going to have your foundation in place. If you don't, you might play a song or two, but it's like putting a bowling ball on paper. It's gonna fall down because your foundational skills are not there. Okay, so back to this F7 chord. Well, now your task is to play any old kind of 7 chord. That means you gotta know your fretboard a little bit. Off the E string. So let's play a F7 B flat 7. Let's play an E flat 7. Let's play a flat 7. If I started from A flat 7 and I wanted all those 4 inversions off the E string, then I would go here. Here's another A flat 7. Here's another one. You get the idea. You don't want to just learn F7s. You want to learn all the 7s and in all their positions. So this chart, let me move it back on the screen once again, tells you how to do that. The only thing you have to change are the fret numbers that I'm pointing with my. So let me use my little pencil here. These little fret numbers will change, but the shape will be the same. These shapes are all movable shapes. You say, well, that's a lot of chords. I got 3 pages of them, right? And I'll show them all to you, and I'll show you just close the door, and you got to put the work in. You just do. And if you put the work in, what I'm selling here today is the payday is going to be huge. It's going to be huge for you. And this is it's a pain in the neck to do. Although I know some ways to make it fun. You put on a little rhythm track, or put some drums on, or something like that, or get Band in the Box and let Band in the Box accompany you, or whatever. There's ways to make it more fun than a metronome. But the work has to be done. If you dodge the work trying to run to songs, you really, you're going to get there faster, but you're going to really struggle when you get to playing songs. Now, back to F major. An F7 chord is let's take any 7 chord. G7. It's a 1, 7, 3, 5. So it's some kind of 1, it's some kind of 7, it's some kind of 3, and some kind of 5. In the 7 dominant chord, it's a regular 1, a flat 7, a regular 3, and a regular 5. So it's a 1, 3, 5, and a flat 7. That's how 7th chords are spelled. So minor chords are 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So what's the difference between a dominant chord and a minor chord? Well, in a dominant chord, the 3rd is regular, and the minor chord, the 3rd is flatted. Both have flatted 7s. So let me move this out of the way a little bit. Maybe I can I'll just do it this way. Here's an F7 chord. It's a 1, 7, 3, 5. Where's the 3rd? 3rd's on my pinky, on the G string. What's the difference between between a dominant chord and a minor chord? Well, both have roots, both have flat 7. The dominant chord has a major 3rd that it has to be flatted. They both have the same 5th. So the only difference is I got to flat this 3rd. So that gives me this minor chord. And when I show that to some people, they say, aha. So now you're not just playing grips and just move on. That is now a 1, 7, 3, 5 voicing, but in reality it's a 1, flat 7, flat 3, and 5 voicing. When you get to something like minor 7, flat 5, how are you going to flat the 5 unless you know where 5 is? especially when you get to more advanced voicings, like you want to put the 9 in or 13th or something like that. I don't call that foundational work, that's more advanced. So here we're going to go, this time, let me move my screen back over here, my little iPad screen, back over here again. So this time we're going to go, this way, right? We're going to go that way. So I think you got the idea about how these chords are derived. So we're gonna go across the 1, 7, 3, 5, and just so we don't bump into the nut of the guitar, we'll do it on G, right? So here's a G7. Here's a G minor 7. Here's a G major 7. Major 7th has a 1, 3, 5 regular 7. So you see how that note had to move up, had to be sharped, regular. Here's a minor 7 flat 5. I didn't play that very well, so let's do that a little bit. And here is a diminished chord. Take the time to not only know, so let's take diminished chord. Diminished chord, any diminished chord is a 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flatted 7, or 6, either way you want to look at it. So now you're learning more than just guitar grips. All these chords are movable. Now we just did the first line here. We just did that part, right? Now you got to do this one. You got to do this one. You got to do this one. See, that's a lot of work. Exactly. Now you have to do it enough that you know these chords. You just don't worry about 9s, 11, sweetheart chords, fancy chords. Our foundational chords are these in jazz. These are our foundational chords. So take your time, Rome wasn't built in a day. Here's an F7 chord. The G7 chord. Here's G minor. Here's G major. Here's G minor 7 flat 5. And diminished. So one day you'll practice it this, oops, let me get the pencil going. One day you'll practice it this way. The next day maybe, or later on that day, you'll practice it this way. And I suggest you do it in that order. Now, let's take minor chords. Let's take minor chords, and we're going to go in the second row here, and we're going to go down, right? We're going to go down that way. Excuse my little penmanship. So let me move out of the way so you can see what I'm doing on the guitar. So here is we can do F. We can do F minor. F minor. Here's an F minor here. Here's an F minor here. Same thing we did earlier on the. Same thing we did earlier on the 7th chords. And then we have an F minor here. Go back and forth, up and down, sideways and sideways, side. Till you know these chords. And here's another one. Take a day, okay, it's minor chord day. And just play them back and forth until you know these chords. 9 sharp 11. Leave all that. I'll leave that alone until you got your basics down. So let me move this over here. Get my eraser out. Doing a little talking, playing. Now, when you're going down the minor chord list, so I did an F minor. That is a 1, 7, 3, 5, except for in minor, it's a 1, flat 3, flat 7, 5. All of them are. And now, the second voicing is a 3, 1, 5, 7 voicing. So it's a flat 3. And if I blew that up a little bit, I see the notes at least for F. Now you need to figure out the minor spelling for any minor chord. So that's maybe another piece of paper where you just put down all 12 minor chords and learn how to spell them. That'll help you later on when you're playing arpeggios or you see the point I'm trying to make is that we jump to songs and we haven't done our homework. We haven't done our trying to take a shortcut to songs is the biggest roadblock I see. I see it on the piano. I see it just trying to skip over this and go to half learn this. And now, just sit there and you could be watching TV or and just play minor chords. Play it back and forth. Make a game out of it. I was playing golf the other a month or two ago. But it's cold now. Can't play golf right now. I heard a guy say, "My 7-iron. That's my favorite club. That's my favorite club." He said, "What's your favorite club?" I said, "I don't have a favorite club. Clubs have a job to do, and I'm going to learn how to use every club in my bag." I paid a lot of money for those golf clubs. So the minute I have a favorite chord to play, under pressure, and I'm playing a song, I'm going to be going to that chord. If I am playing a 2-5-1 in the key of C, sorry about that. Get out of the way. So I'm playing a D minor 7 chord. Even people on the bandstand, I see, they will go here to that G7 chord and then they'll play this C chord. I don't know why they do that. When there's a G7 chord right under their fingers. And if you know your chords well enough, you'll get better voice leading. Excuse me, a little cold. So, my recommendation to you is work this chart that you see that I'm getting ready to put back on the screen again. Work it this way, work it that way, and don't just work Fs. It's almost like you need 12 of these charts because there's 12 keys. I just happen to put F. I wanted to explain how this chart is put together. So let's look at the third line that you see there, and let's say we're working that's this piece right here, right? So now we have an F7 here. We have an F7 here, the first one. But I want to make it into an F minor. Well, what's the difference between an F7 and an F minor? The third has to be flatted. So I'm going to end up with this. So I'm going to end up with that voicing. What if I wanted an F major 7? Well, I need to unflat the 7. that for that whole sheet. Take 2 months and do that. Take 2 years and do that. But if you do, even if you're playing songs, I'm not telling you not to play songs because I know it's futile. We all want to play songs, but spend a portion of your practice here. So if you're gonna practice for an hour, spend 15, 20 minutes. Just work. Don't fall into the rut of having 2 or 3 favorite chords you're trying to jam into everything. Why? Because jazz is not like that. Jazz means you gotta have vocabulary to make certain choices. Now let me go over here just to show you real quick, not to make this video that long. There's 2 more sheets to this. This first sheet is just off the low strings, off the low E string. So if we were playing an F7, I'm going to locate F here and go all the way down. By the way, notice a couple things. If I took that note right, sorry. If I took that note right there, that note right there, that note right there, and that note right there, that is going to spell F7. That's an F, A, C, and an E flat. That away. Whatever these notes are, if you stayed on the same string, they're gonna move according to the chord that you're dealing with. So it's all symmetrical is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's go to the second page. All right. If you get the first page down, the second page is not that tough. Because basically all we're doing is we're moving the note from the low E string to the high E string. So now F7 is going to be up here. And F minor is going to be here. F major is going to be here. I don't have to show you my fingers. You can read these guitar charts and on and on and on. But don't neglect this. I guarantee you most of us have voicings that you see on your screen that we don't play. We don't play because we didn't do our foundational work well enough. So take a screenshot of that. If I get that to whatever that was out of here. Take a screenshot of this. Now you have the second page. Now here's the third page. Whoops, wait a minute. Let me see. Where is the... Oh, I have to make another video. Oh, there it is. Here is the third page. I had them a little bit out of order, sorry. Now, this page that you see on your screen right now, you're going to have to pick your way through it. It's all correct. Take a screenshot of it. But some of these are a little hard to play. Some of these are very hard to play, and if you need to, you can skip them. You can skip them. Now, let me show you one that I happen to skip, like this one. Very hard to play that. But most of them you can get if you worked at it. But what this page is how do you play an F7 in the middle 4 strings, right? So you find let's take this first one here. Oops, why do I keep doing that? Take this one here. So you find F, and then you just push that chord in the middle. So this is an F7 chord. Now ask yourself, do you play that chord? Most of you are going to say no. I know that. But that's a good chord. That F minor is a tough one. That's a little bit of Stretch Armstrong, because you gotta, although I can do it. Now again, I am now playing this chord right here. Now I tend to gravitate away from Stretch Armstrong a little bit chords because I just do. I can find other voicings. But in the middle, four strings, you're gonna find some voicings that you use a lot. I mean, a lot. Let me find the ones that I tend to gravitate to a lot. This one I use 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 all the time. All the time I use that voicing. This one, sometimes. But let me clean this up so you can get a good screenshot of this. These are every last one of these voicings on this page are in the middle four strings. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have foundational work we have left undone, and we skipped over it and we ran to the songs. One other point, and I know I'm getting a little preachy today, is here is a sheet that you can screenshot, and it tells you about diatonic harmony. So let's take the key of C. Let's take the key of C, right? So if I set the key of C and I wanted a 2 chord in the key of C, I just go over here, find 2, right? And I say, aha, D. And every 2 chord is minor. Every 2 chord is minor, unless somebody changes it. But I'm talking about diatonic meaning within the key. So now, if I said, in the key of F, what's the 2 chord? Just G. Don't even think about it. In other words, you see all these keys, the keys are going this way, and the degrees of the keys are going that way. It's a chart to be learned. I mean, to be learned well. Because now you not only know chords, but you know how chords function within a key. So, let me give you an exercise that you might want to do. Let's take G, for example. So, in the key of G, the 1 chord is G. We took a voicing off the low E string, off that last sheet I told you. What's the 2 chord in the key of G? A is A minor. What is the 3 chord in B minor is? What's the 4 chord C major is? What's the 5 chord D7 is? What's the 6 chord E minor? What's the 7 chord? F sharp minor 755, and it's a little scrunchy down here. And now we're back to G again. Take us several keys and just go up 1 string. Let's do it on the A string. Let's take C. Here's C. What's the 2 chord? D minor. E minor, that's the 3 chord. F major is the 4 chord. What's the 5 chord? G7 is. A minor is the 6 chord. B minor 755 is the 7 chord. Oh my goodness. Oh. And now we're back to C again. I need a lot more practice playing high on the guitar. Once you got the 2 strings down, you could do that on any of the 6 strings. You can do that on any. Once you learn all the chords on the sheets I showed you earlier, now you can shift from string to string. So let's do G again. So then 1, A minor. Now I can go up to B minor, or I can do this B minor. I can do, so I can shift back and forth. So already I'm getting options. Now, I want to emphasize the Roman numeral aspect of this because if you say C major and you don't know that's the one chord, you're missing it. You're missing it. If you say D minor, you don't know that's the two chord because D minor is the two chord in C, but it's the sixth chord in F. E minor is the three chord in the key of C. So it's almost like you're talking and playing at the same time. And you're going to not so much memorize this chart, but you're going to more internalize it. That's critical. That's critical. If you know this chart upside down, backwards, and forward, and then somebody put Misty in front of you, oh, you're locked and loaded. You have done your foundational work because you know that you're in the key of E flat, and it's way down here somewhere. There it is down there. So you know some chord, you know lots of different E flat chord voicing, so you could voice it however you want. And so now you can start to analyze the next step, which is a chord progression, which is a series of chords, how they're put together. But if you don't know, if you don't have this background work done, or if it's spotty, you know, you're still a good person, but your playing is going to fall down at some point because it only can rise. I guess the metaphor is you walk by and you say, wow, they're going to build a really big building here. And somebody else says, well, how do you know that? Well, look how deep the hole they built to put the foundation in. With that kind of foundation, a big building is going to go in this spot. You know, for the 100th time, avoid the temptation to run to play songs. You don't want to play songs. You want to play exercises that you can recognize in songs. You don't even want to have goals. You want to have goals. Tend to indicate to me that there's some endpoint to this, but you want to have skill. You want to have the skill. Now, I haven't even mentioned other skills like rhythm skills. So here I am sitting at the guitar and I got an exercise in mind. You make up your own exercises. Maybe I just want to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, how many keys can I do? So I'll take G. 1, 2. I took 1, 2, 3 and added rhythm to it. Well, let's do another 1, 2, 3. Let's do, now I played the muscle memory part of it, but I also have to know what I'm playing. So in the key of C, 1 is C, 2 is D minor, and 3 is E minor. Now watch. If you do that work, there's a song, I can only give you love that lasts forever, and as long as you be near each time you call. Now, say if somebody want to play that in a different key, no problem. And give you love that lasts forever. Why was that so easy? Because I did my foundation work. What if I wanted to do that in A flat? Well, what's the 1? A flat. What's the 2 in A flat? Well, B flat. That's just one progression, but don't worry about progressions until you have your foundational skills. Also, again, one more repeat, and then I'll quit preaching at you guys. If that's the way you play A flat all the time, right? Right. In other words, you don't know this A flat, and back to. That means let me put my sheet back over here, and let me swipe over, swipe. You did not spend enough time here, right? Because all you got is two A flats in your pocket when you should have 12. Or all you got is two F7s and you should have 12 of them. So 12 keys, 12 variations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different chord types. You do the math. You got a lot of work to do. But try to make it fun. Make a game out of it. And again, this is not the most sexy video I've ever made, but I think that if you put in this kind of work on a pretty regular basis, oh, one more thing. If you play songs, if you're playing songs and you keep going back to your favorite chord, your favorite club in the golf bag, then what's the point of learning these new chords if we're never going to use them? Because if you don't play them, then they're gonna escape your mind. So every now and then, don't go to this low. Every now and then, go to a different one. Go to another one. Go to this one. And all I did was I just played. What you heard me play was just this. That's all you just heard. Take a day and do that. Take another day and do this. Take another day and do this. Take a different day and do this. And then take a day and do this. That's foundational work that'll pay dividends in the long run. You guys have a happy new year. And I will talk to everybody soon. Take care. Bye-bye.